The Galactic Council had protocols for everything. First contact procedures, trade negotiations, diplomatic immunity clauses. What they didn't have was a protocol for when the heir to the Zarkthian Empire refused to stop crying unless held by a human janitor. Jasmine pushed her mop across the pristine floors of Embassy Hall 7, her reflection gleaming in the polished surface. 2 years working maintenance on the Council's flagship station, and she'd learned to tune out the galaxy's politics. Ambassadors argued, treaties were signed, wars were prevented, all while she ensured their boots didn't track mud across marble imported from a dozen worlds. The screaming started around 300 hours. At first, Jasmine thought it was an alarm. The sound pierced through walls, a shriek that made her fillings ache. She abandoned her mop and followed the noise to the Zarkthian diplomatic suite, where she found chaos. Emperor Vormath, 8 feet of crystalline exoskeleton and barely contained rage, stood in the center of the room. His son Prince Kelnix thrashed in the arms of a Zarkthian nursemaid, his small body writhing, his cries echoing off the vaulted ceiling. Around them, a dozen attendants scrambled, offering toys, food, DAO temperature adjustments, light spectrum changes. Nothing worked, incompetent. Vormath's voice resonated like grinding stone. The heir to the eternal throne cannot be comforted by his own people. This is unacceptable. Jasmine should have left, should have backed away slowly and returned to her mop. But she'd grown up with 3 younger siblings, and she recognized that particular pitch of infant distress. That wasn't hunger or pain. That was exhaustion fighting overstimulation. "Excuse me," she said. The room fell silent except for Kelnix's wailing. A dozen alien faces turned toward her. Emperor Vormath's optical clusters narrowed. "You dare interrupt? Your son is overtired," Jasmine said, stepping forward. "Too many people, too much noise. He needs quiet and consistent movement." Vormath's crystals flared with indignation, but the chief physician, a wizened Zarkthian named Melthar, raised a manipulator appendage. "Let the human speak." Jasmine approached the nursemaid.
"May I?"
The nursemaid looked to Vormath, who gave a curt nod. Jasmine took the prince into her arms. He was lighter than she expected. His exoskeleton, still soft with youth, warm to the touch. She positioned him against her shoulder, supporting his head, and began a gentle swaying motion. The same one that had worked on her baby brother 1,000 times. She started humming. Nothing fancy. An old earth lullaby her grandmother had taught her. Kelnix's cries faltered, hiccuped, then stopped. The silence was profound. Jasmine continued swaying, humming, her hand making small circles on the prince's back. Within minutes, she felt his breathing slow, his small body growing heavy with sleep. "Impossible," Vormath whispered. "It's just exhaustion," Jasmine said softly. He fought it so long he forgot how to let go. Sometimes babies need to feel safe enough to surrender. She tried to hand Kelnix back to the nursemaid. The moment she moved him away from her chest, his eyes snapped open and the screaming resumed. Jasmine pulled him back. Silence returned. She tried 3 more times. Same result. Emperor Vormath studied her with an intensity that made Jasmine's survival instincts scream. "What is your name, human?" "Jasmine Rivera, Your Majesty." "Maintenance crew." "Jasmine Rivera." He tasted each syllable. "You have done what the finest medical minds in the Empire could not. The debt is noted." "I didn't do anything special," Jasmine protested. "Just basic childcare." "Nevertheless." Vormath gestured, and suddenly Harry Chen, her supervisor, appeared in the doorway looking terrified. "This human's duties are hereby reassigned. She will attend to Prince Kelnix until he is stabilized." "Wait, what?" Jasmine's arms tightened protectively around the sleeping prince. "I'm not a nanny. I don't know anything about Zarkthian biology or—" "You know enough," Melthar interjected. "More than we do, apparently. Human intuition regarding infant care is unexpected." Harry found his voice. "Your Majesty, Jasmine isn't trained for diplomatic—" "She is trained in what matters," Vormath said. "My son lives because humans evolved as social caregivers. Your species' alloparenting instincts are unique in the galaxy. We Zarkthians hatch self-sufficient. We do not nurture as you do." Jasmine looked down at Kelnix, his small face peaceful against her uniform. "He's just a baby. Doesn't matter what planet you're from." And there it was. The thing that made humans dangerous, Harry thought. Not their weapons or their wars, but this, their inability to see a suffering child and walk away. their compulsion to care even for the alien, the foreign, the other. The next 3 days were surreal. Jasmine worked 12-hour shifts, but instead of mopping floors, she walked the embassy halls with an alien prince sleeping in her arms. Zardakthian physicians monitored everything, her heart rate, her vocalizations, her movements. They documented how Kelnix responded to her warmth, her voice, her presence. Your species generates psychological safety, Melthar explained on day 2. Your bonding hormones, your empathetic responses, they create an environment of trust. We have evolved beyond this, but perhaps we have lost something. On the 4th day, Kelnix finally accepted his nursemaid, but only after Jasmine had held him for an hour first, transferring her scent, her calm. The transition took 3 more days of gradual separation. When Emperor Vormath summoned her on departure day, Jasmine expected formality. Instead, he knelt, an 8-foot crystalline emperor folding himself before a human janitor. You have taught the Eternal Throne a lesson in humility, he said. There is strength in gentleness, power in care. The Empire will not forget. He pressed a crystal into her palm. When Kelnix takes the throne, he will remember the human who taught him to sleep peacefully. The galaxy is safer because you chose to care. Jasmine returned to her mop that evening. Harry found her in Embassy Hall 7, working in silence. You know what you've done, right? He asked. You've changed how the most powerful empire in the galaxy views humanity, because you picked up a crying baby. Jasmine shrugged, wringing out her mop. Someone had to. He needed help, Harry smiled. That was humanity in a nutshell. They didn't save the galaxy through superior firepower or advanced technology. They saved it because when they heard a child crying, they couldn't just walk away. Even if that child had 6 limbs and skin like diamond. Even if helping meant risking an emperor's wrath. They helped because that's what humans did. And that, more than any weapon, made them formidable.